From the Oklahoma Newsroom, this is an OU update. I'm Jenny Carlson. The Sooners are back in Hawaii, lucky dogs, and Ryan Aber joins us on the phone. Ryan, you aren't in Hawaii. Not so lucky, are you? But the Sooners are back there for actually a tournament this time. They were there for a single game against Villanova a couple weeks ago, now in a 3-game tournament. What kind of resume building could the Sooners potentially do over this Christmas week?
Well, they've certainly got a good chance to burnish up their resume here entering conference play, and they're not going to play a team the level of Villanova like they played the last time they went out to Hawaii. But there are some good teams in this field. Northern Iowa just upset Iowa State on Saturday night and won a big game. They've had a couple of really big wins this season, and then BYU and Washington State are decent as well. So they've got a good chance to win some games that could leave a mark come February and March.
Well, you know, Ryan, these aren't necessarily wins against, say, a top 5 sort of team, a high-profile sort of team. That's not on this list. OU's the team that other teams would be shooting for that. But these are the kind of wins when you talk about good mid-majors to Power 5 type conference teams that when the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee looks at the Sooners' resume come March to try to figure out, do they send them to Oklahoma City or somewhere else for a regional? I mean, these are the type of games, they're known names, they're a run of games in a pretty short amount of time. That would have to play pretty nicely in the Sooners' favor.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Winning this tournament would be a big piece in the resume for them, not only for the teams that they would beat, especially if they're able to get Northern Iowa in the semifinals and get past them, but also just for the winning the 3 games in 4 days, that certainly leaves an impression as well, because that shows that you can go through the rigors of tournament play, and that's certainly something that this team wants to put on its resume come that March time, because they want to be right here at home in Oklahoma City, and they've got a great chance to do it this season. They should do it at this point, but anything you can keep in your back pocket as extra pieces to that resume certainly is helpful at this time of the year.
Well, you talk about winning 3 games in 4 days, and it sure doesn't hurt to have some depth if you're trying to do that. And this Sooners team, Ryan, it seems like they just have an increasing amount of talent and skill coming off that bench. That's got to be something Lon Kruger and the rest of these guys are pretty excited about. Yeah,
absolutely. The bench last year was one of the big problems with this team, that if Buddy Hield or Isaiah Cousins struggled offensively, they would really be lost at times. And that hadn't been the case this year. Of course, Buddy Hield and Isaiah Cousins haven't struggled very much at all this year. But to get a performance like they've gotten recently from Denzel Walker, a guy who was on the team last year but really struggled to find his place, struggled to fit in with this group after he moved off the ball, made that same move this year, and has just been fantastic. His minutes are going up, his point production is going up, and he's doing a lot of other different things for this team to win. But it's not just Denzel Walker. They're getting Colton Manyang continues to increase his role off the bench. He's their 5th leading scorer, blocks every shot, it seems like, that gets put up against him. Of course, it helps when you're 7 foot tall. But and then the freshman guards, Rashard Odoms and Christian James, have had their up and down moments, but they're able to go through those things with the rest of the bench around them. So those guys should get better. Manyang should keep getting better, and then Jamuni McNeese and Dante Buford, who's bounced around a little bit. I think those guys are going to find different roles as well. But that's a whole lot more names coming off the bench than we mentioned for this team in the past couple of years.
Definitely so. All those guys will be on the floor for the Sooners as they open tournament play out in Hawaii. It's a late start on Tuesday night, 10 p.m., and then we'll continue to update their game times as we figure out what the results are. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.